Femininity. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining me. You know that I don't know what's happening because I'm playing something else down here, but I can clearly see myself off screen. Let's see, let's make sure everything's okay. Okay, so we're back. That was a very strange intro to the video, but welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for part 2 of my review of my Afua Rose video, Treachery and Toxic Femininity. My name is Linnea, and you are watching The Feminine Mind. And I'd like to start it off with a song to get the vibes right, to get the vibes high. So this is my theme song, essentially, for any time I'm doing a video in relation to Afua Rose. I started this live stream about Afro Rose last week Friday when she was arrested, and I'm actually going backwards to go forwards. I've got so much to share, not just my own experiences. This is the last day of me sharing my own experiences. So let's get ready for our theme tune. Mota masiliza yana hear your mama de kayo. Your mota galanga in a hear your mama de call. Your mouth's a fly, you must tell lie. Member say me a wire. Liza, keep by your mouth. Liza chat, she chat, she chat, she chat. She chat all where she no know. She walk about from pillar to post and make some people follow. So if you see her coming your way, no give her nothing fit talk about. Liza, keep out your mouth. Welcome again. Thank you for everyone who is joining in. Happy Wednesday. I hope it's been a great week for you so far. I hope you're dealing with your blessings and balancing any challenges that you have so you can literally just push through each day with a victorious energy. Do you understand what I mean? So thank you to everyone who watched the video that I put out last night. That is about Afua Rose, my review on my experience with an ex-con and a relentless liar. So last night I introduced this topic because throughout the week, as I have been sharing my views, really exploring, which I feel is from a different perspective, really exploring this topic of Afua Rose from various perspectives. I shared the first part of my my experience with an ex-con video, and today I will be sharing, as promised, the second part. I almost came and did something completely different, but because I had said, look, this is what I'm going to do, I decided to stick to my word. So welcome, Melanin. Melanin says, hi, Linnea. Blessings, Kerry. Kerry, I hope you're really, really well. I hope you're well as well, Melanin. I actually tried to message you today via your Facebook page, but I realized there was no, well, I couldn't find the message button. So I don't know if you've taken the message button off, but it would be good to touch base with you, okay? And thanks again. I spoke to 3 people today in regards to Afro Rose, 3 people explaining how they were essentially attacked online by Afua and her angry mob of goats. No, I'm joking. I'm not in that mood today. So Afua and her mob will suffice. And they were attacked for reasons that are not related to the platform. So it gave me 3 more examples of how Afua has set up a platform that is supposed to be highlighting women's rights, highlighting women's issues, calling out assaulters of women, and yet the platform itself has been abused in order just to attack people online. So on that note, If you haven't already, if you're watching this after the live, I do recommend you watch the first video, which was done yesterday. But if you're here and you're just seeing it for the first time, please just tune in. Please bring your discernment, okay? Your intelligence, because you know that intelligence rules the minds, and we're all to be like master thinkers. And yeah, let me jump straight into the video. So I am going to bring the file in organically, and I will be commenting on this video as we go through. Now, I just want to say that I will let you know during this live if I'm doing a live tomorrow, because on Friday, I will be addressing the issue between Afua Rose and DJ Stylah. There's so many things have actually happened that when I have been collecting this information, it's just such a crazy and bizarre story. It's another case how, someone will come on her platform, not even be accusing someone else. And then just because of social politics, someone is being attacked, namely in this case, DJ Stylah. I noticed today that Afua also went on an attack against his aunt, like she wants to attack the aunt for defending him, when in fact, she is the one who is not only being inhumane, she's actually breaking the law. So as the weeks unfold, as the months unfold, we will be able to get more information about this. But this Friday, I will be presenting a collection of chronological stories, not stories that I'm going to tell, literally videos showing what has happened, and also providing another example of this insipid behavior. And what I'm going to ask you guys, essentially, because my channel isn't going to be dedicated to Afua full time, I just want you all to really consider how you yourself respond to group tactics. If you are the kind of person who would put others in a situation where they may even unalive themselves, the kind of abuse that Afua is actually, carrying out, the kind of mob mentality that she's cultivating and very, very proud of, is the kind of traumatic attack that could lead to someone having serious mental health problems, that could lead to someone questioning their life. This is something that, is a new evolution using the technology. It's a way how people essentially can hurt and demonize and traumatize people with or without evidence. So please look out for that on Friday. I'll let you know during this live if I'll be doing a live tomorrow. And without further ado, please let's go straight into the video. This is part 2 of Linnea addresses ex-con feminine, toxic feminine, Afua Rose. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for those of you who have stayed with me. It's been such a pleasure. Yeah, I'll take it off. It's reflecting too much. It's been such a pleasure to go through this rites of passage with you. It's my new rites of passage, 7th of the 7th. And I created a few videos before, my documentaries, so that if certain questions came up, I would say, oh, just go and check out that video. And it turns out that this is going to be one of those same videos where from now on, whenever the foolishness starts with the when it starts with the crabs in the barrel, okay, I just say, oh, I've already done a video on that. Just go and check it out. I don't like repeating myself. That's the reason why I played the videos I played. I cannot bring myself to repeat things that I've already recorded, So thank you so much. So I introduce you to my crab in a barrel squad. In my barrel, I have many crabs. They are not STIs, okay? They are people with crab-like mentalities. I wish they would just heal and let me be. Amenti, Aisha, Malika, Bayush, Afua, Sika the Crafter, Sarjo, Michelle Lewis, Ewuna, and the many who I'm glad I don't even need to mention, because there are many of you. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of humanity. When we don't take the time to develop the beings that we are, we degenerate. We become problematic, not just for ourselves, we become problems for other people. So what this really means in ancient yoga, it is a posture you see Wakanda. This is a posture of Asar. I mentioned him before. Ancient Kemetic Egyptian, ancient African deity. This means a few things. One of them I'd like to highlight is I take responsibility for my energy, for my behavior, for my conduct. None of us are perfect. Running a business, I have made many errors. I think that my biggest errors, I was mentioning to someone yesterday, are when the Grenfell fire happened and I overgave in that area and it mashed up my retreat and it affected me, clients to this day. There's a few decisions that I've made business-wise. It is what it is. That's what happens. We're not human in all areas of our life. But these situations, the people that are even being highlighted aren't major business people. And so with that, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to finish this presentation, lay it all out on the rug, and just take it from there. Bayush is my third troll. She's a young girl who I didn't speak with for a couple of years. Her grandmother passed away. We were both living in England. And then she just went quiet and I didn't know why. I carried on with my life. She was a youth to me that I was nurturing. And I migrated to Jamaica. While I was in Jamaica, a lot of people who had disappeared or who I had categorically stopped talking to reached out to me. They wanted to repair the friendships. I look back, I think it was because I was in Jamaica and they just wanted to be in the mix. She reached out to me. She explained that she had been watching my pages the whole time that she'd taken her space to check if I was okay. Again, I didn't like that because my page isn't going to let you know if I'm okay or not. All right, so if you want to know if I'm okay, holler at me through the number you have and ask me or DM me if you don't have a number, but the pages, they're pages. They're not people. Anyway, we continued speaking. I came to learn, as said in Temple Time, she was about to have a divorce. In fact, she wasn't going to have a divorce. What happened was she had planned to live with the guy in toxicity. I could hear them arguing all the time. And I said to her, you can't live like that. I don't know who told you can live like that. But when you and someone break up, if you cannot be peaceful, you cannot live together and raise children. That's when you have to move out, find your independence and co-parent. However, if you can be peaceful and keep normality and stability, whatever's good for you is good. So she made the decision after some time to move on. She also started to rediscover some of her passions. One, that was tarot. She joined my tarot class, okay, because I taught tarot as well as providing the readings. She joined the yoga class. She didn't really do the yoga much. I understand the things that she'd gone through had affected her appearance and her self-confidence wasn't great, okay, but she did try. She also even took my referral that I gave her to go and get some traditional healing and guidance to assist her in her move out of this toxic marriage, out of this toxic home situation. And this is how we came to part. She had a session, it wasn't even with me, I was there, with our Yumfa Ellie Breebon from, he lives in Manchester, and she was given some guidances, which she took on board. Two things stood out to me that I would now be very transparent about because the situation calls for it. She was told that she should not be an ingrate. Ingrate. And I was taken aback because I thought, wow, you rarely hear that. Just sounds like old English, you know. You might hear someone say, don't be ungrateful, but you rarely hear someone say, don't be an ingrate. And I was thinking, ooh, she doesn't come across to me like an ingrate, but maybe it's showing up in another part of her life. She was also told, do not get involved in any form of toxic competition. And because she was always fighting with her husband, I assumed that it was about that. The very next day, I would find out that the advice that Bayush had received not to be an ingrate and not to be involved in any toxic competition was about me. Because the very next day, we had a conversation where I explained, listen to this, listen to how crazy. These stories are crazy. You cannot make them up. She had a prayer from the Ifa system. It's a prayer that people say in the morning in Yoruba culture. It's a well-known prayer. Homage to the mother. Okay, so I have to interject now. Thank you for everyone else who's joining in. So in case you're wondering, well, why am I now talking about something else? I don't know if you remember, I have said a few times, I'm going to create a video that is called, or is basically about 10 lies that I can verify that Afua Rose has told. 10 destructive lies. So this is actually leading into why Afua decided to attack me online, but the story is connected to my online troll that I had about a year prior to actually going on the Afua Rose platform, to reaching out to her. And Afua was fully aware that this person was a troll, which I don't want to like speak ahead of it, but what it is essentially doing is introducing another person into the story that can actually show you just how vile and how intentionally dishonest Afua Rose is and was with me. Homage to the fathers, homage to the teachers, homage to their assistants. Oludumare, homage to you. The owner of today, homage to you. The mysterious mothers, homage to you. Okay? This is the prayer. She asked me, what does it mean? So we go through the prayer and I start explaining, this is the mothers, this is the fathers, this is the teacher, this is the assistant. This is who these people would be in real life to you. And I explained, I'm the teacher and I'm the assistant because I'm teaching her directly. But when she's working with Arrow, I'm assisting him and I'm assisting her. She decides, that's crazy. How can I be the assistant? Remember, me and this girl's not the same age, you know. She's a good, I don't know. At the time, I'd say she's like 10 years younger than me. I don't know the exact amount, but she's younger than me. When I met her, she was a teenager and I had a child that was about 9 years old. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're not the same. We might be same generation, but we're not in the same age group like that. So I was like, what do you mean I'm not the teacher? I've been teaching you all this stuff. You come to me to learn this Tariasa, this yoga here, so now you're coming to me learn Ifa. I'm the person breaking down the prayers to you. I'm the person, what do you mean I'm not the assistant? So it was on this premise that she lost her mind, got mad on the phone, hang up the phone, and start emailing me lots of abuse. Seriously, so Bayush starts emailing me all this abuse. She emailed me, she emailed me. I said, look, it's almost like I'm saying, go to the bush, just leave me be, just go. I thought that was the end of it. I woke up the next day, all these trolling, slanderous comments all over my YouTube, Goddess Art Temple at the time. I go on Instagram page, and she's slick. She sets up a page in her name, she sets up a page in my name, then my name, my business name, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. February 2021. So in February 2021, after dealing with a student who essentially is someone who I knew for quite a few years, she's from the same part of Northwest London as me. She's a junior to me. She's not actually my age group. Do you understand what I'm saying? She's a junior. She was a teenager when I first met her. When she didn't approve, or when she found that she wasn't in resonance with what I was sharing with her, which wasn't actually a critique, it was explaining something that she was learning. I woke up the next day and she had created several brands, some based on my own business name, some based on her name, some based on my name. So this is like crazy erratic behavior. And this was her way, which I found that a lot of women, because at the time, all of my work was online, this wasn't the first time. So if you watch the Please Don't Call Me Sis series, I'm essentially going through the video and I'm explaining this happened this time, then this happened this time. And I'm actually giving a chronological story of how I have experienced trolling via people who I actually know when they aren't happy with me. And this is at the root of the crab in a barrel experience that I have actually had. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have found that my growth, however I grow, it is matched by people. Some of these people weren't even clients at all. They're just people on the in the sidelines who essentially only seem to have a problem with me when I've grown and try to use social media essentially to damage me because I don't have a storefront. You know, I don't have somebody you can come run up in and carry on. And essentially, because a lot of what they're doing is rooted in insecurity and in fear, they falsely believe that by doing this, they're going to cause me some form of loss. Until now, July 2023, Bayush has been on a relentless campaign because of that conversation. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because of that conversation where I explained to her what the teacher and the assistant is after she's received guidance. Don't be an ingrate and don't get involved in toxic competition. And I realized this trolling that she's doing, that's the toxic competition, because somehow, somewhere along the road, Bayush thought that our friendships and our business were supposed to be parallel. So I'm just thinking, you're a young lady, you're a young sis, I'm an older sis, we're connecting on a spiritual womanhood, goddesshood, sisterhood. You're thinking, when I met her, she didn't have a business. She wasn't even working. She wasn't in college. She was literally doing nothing but being promiscuous. And that was the age that she was at to be doing that. So I don't understand why it's this thing of where she's competing her business against mine, and the way she's carrying it out now, she's on the campaign to destroy my business. Like, you can destroy people's business. What you're doing is evincing that you've lost your marbles. That's all you ladies are doing. And that's the toxic femininity. When you hide and you create spin to hide the iniquity and the ill deeds that you yourself have been doing, anyone will believe your lying stories. But when someone comes forward and says, nip it in the bud, 7th of the 7th, we're not going to do that anymore. So, Bayush, she went off to be the troll. So I went on Afua's platform, remember I said last year, and Bayush reaches out to Afua. Afua reaches out to me and says, this lady has reached out to me. I swear, I feel like I'm going to bust up laughing because I swear, it's just, sorry. It's too funny. She says, this lady's reached out to me. She said, don't trust Linnea. She's got this page. It's in your name. I explained the whole story. I've got nothing to hide. Oh, that's Bayush. She's the temple troll. She's our troll. My whole audience are aware of her. Don't worry. It is what it is. You can talk to her if you want. And then Afua says, yeah, I've got a few pages like that myself. People have set up fake pages, which I wasn't aware of. Why would I? I didn't even know about her. Where everyone knew that there was this lady. I wasn't in the country, so I did not know about her. So I was like, okay, common ground. You know what it's like. I said, it's part of social media. It's a new thing. If you don't have a storefront, people are now going to try to turn to social media if you have a brand. If you don't have a brand, no one's really going to do that. But if you have a brand, if you're a musician, artist, business owner, that's what people do. The bigger you grow, I've seen so many people in the last 3 years have to come out and announce on their pages, this is not me. This is a fake account. And there's people going around creating fake accounts for one reason or the other. Okay? So we moved on. All the stuff happened that I mentioned earlier on. I went to the march. I met the Pussycat. The Pussycat is the artist. The artist asked me to make a song with him. He said the way how he works, we would do all the song in one day. And I remember thinking, that's not really my style. Like, I like to breathe into things, so we could figure out what rhythm we're using first, see what comes up, then meet and voice something, you know? Anyway, I didn't know him as any artist. I never seen this guy before unless he was that one time I saw him on Afua's platform. So I asked him for his Pussycat name. And I went and had a look for him online. And I found his music. And I thought, wow, this guy is actually very good. I felt that musically, grime, DJ, dub, dubstep, drum and bass, that sort of UK style with a Jamaican dancehall reggae twist, and I resonated with that clearly. So I waited a few days and I said, okay, let me call him and have this conversation. Before I did that, I noticed that he had a lot of information online, including his birthday. And being the mystic that I am, and being that I was a little bit unnerved by him, but I wasn't sure why, I had a look at his natal chart. And when I had a look at his natal chart, which if you don't know, it's a chart of what was happening in the sky on the day you were born, right? And it speaks to a lot of your personality. So when I look, so I just want to say that I actually share this information in much more detail in one of my more recent videos, okay? So I started a series called Exposing Narcissists, and it is in the Killer P, My Father, and the Tools I Use to Detect and Expose Narcissists. I start to explain how I came to know about narcissism, what my experience was in regards to people that I grew up with that were narcissists, and how I started to learn how to intuit whether someone was a narcissist or not. And then later on, how I discovered that you can see narcissism in someone's natal chart. So in this video, I just touch on it briefly. But if you want to learn more about that topic and narcissism and to understand the crazy breed of people that Afua has around her, I do suggest you watch those videos, and I will link them below. In the natal chart, I could see before I even spoke to this person that he, unfortunately, was by the very least a narcissist, and by the most extreme, potentially a sociopath or a psychopath. I could see that. See, these are the things that I've been learning in the mystery schools that I've been exploring while I've been doing the work, okay? And I find it all very intriguing. And when I see that in someone's chart, I study them, and my friends and family know this. Yeah, so might be new to you, but even celebrities that have these placements, I'll study. Oh, is that how it showed up? Interesting. I love astrology. I love astrology. So I thought, does that affect me? Because I'm just going to do a track with him, so that shouldn't really affect me. Do you get what I'm saying? Plus he's short, so God, he might have short man syndrome, which I've experienced before with someone that I used to work with. But anyway, took some time. I called the Pussycat. And what I've decided is, because what I can share about this artist, the Pussycat, is probably an hour and a half. And when I considered whether I was going to do this live, I said to my sister, but how can I mention him in a live stream that's about toxic femininity? And she said, well, he's acting like a BIT female dog. And I think she was totally on the money with that. Man is moving like a female dog. So if he wants to act like that, you can definitely speak about him in your toxic femininity series. But I will be even more specific to the point. The reason why he comes up in the toxic femininity series is because Afua Rose is the toxic feminine, essentially, that connects with another toxic feminine, someone who actually needs psychological help, and a born overt malignant narcissist, another person who actually needs psychological help. And because she's male-centered, she allowed a man essentially to give her, I don't want to say permission, but yeah, to give her permission to, she allowed a man essentially to make her decide to attack me, as I actually had never said anything about her. And for me, when it comes to patriarchy and the damage that women who are patriarchally aligned, those who are conscious or unconscious of it and don't actually want to heal, this really represents that female that is a danger to other women, regardless of the experiences of those women. They will always align with a male because they are male and phallus centered. But at the time, I didn't understand the steps that I'll explain that this person took. But I did know that their level of narcissism is unbearable, it's intolerable, which is the reason why within a few weeks of me initially speaking to this Pussycat, I rejected him out of my phone, future, we're not making no tune together. Don't call me back, because his character, his being is monstrous, and it was scary for me. And there were a few, from the very first time I spoke to him, I cried on the phone. And he was so conflicted and duplicitous. I don't want to go into all of that. It's something that I may in the future write a book about it, because I realize that he's very uneducated, as are his audience, and they would probably benefit more from being prompted to read a book, because the intelligence that relies on just doing live streams and the inability to articulate oneself in other higher modes of communication like writing is something that his community and him need. And the proof of that is this guy tried to fight me about the fact that the word fillet, you don't pronounce the T. So we're talking about food. He says he loves making fillet. I said, what is that? You know me. What is that? What's fillet? He goes, you know, like, don't you know fillet is because you're from Jamaica? This other man's trying, you know. Me, you know. I said, oh, you mean fillet? He said, no, it's not fillet. It's fillet. It has a T at the end. I said, yeah, but so does the word ballet. Ballet has a T at the end, and it's not called ballet. And the man tried to fight me off for that, and I let him have it because I realized smart people can't argue with people who don't have sense. And that is the beginning, middle, and end, my experience with him. But there's one signifying thing why I really pulled away from it too, that I will mention. I don't want to mention too much because I don't want to pacify the ego of this person. Because if you have a YouTube channel and you're supposed to be a celebrity and a big artist and a big man in the community and all them things, but your videos are all under like 600 views, and you have to call my name on your channel to hit over 1,000 views, I'm not supposed to address you because you're not on my level. You see it? If you're... That is the kind of inflammatory reason why I didn't want to mention everything I experienced with him, which, as I said, I have gone back. I think it was maybe January or December. I did create another video. The true reason is because narcissists love back and forth. Do you understand? They love, oh, she said this, I'm going to say this. And I could just sense that even him and Afua, the both of them, they have a need essentially to justify what they're going to do next. And I actually didn't want to go into his energy, because when I even speak about people, I feel and remember their psyche, their energy. And if your energy is dirty and of a low vibration, I'm literally tainting myself just speaking about him. So I didn't want to go into that pit of hell, essentially. Mm-hmm. If your normal videos are all like a couple hundred views, and then you call my name and you get 1,000 odd views, you go and thank me for helping you to monetize your channel. But we're not going to do this. And in saying that, I want to say to everyone who I am acknowledging on this video, this is not a response to anybody. Meaning, you lot have been sitting on my name for years. Every year is something else. I don't come out and respond. What this is my own declaration and nip in the bud, and a discussion of a very important sickness, illness, and corruption within our society that puts many people at risk every day. And it's funny that I say that, and it's good. I look back at that and I think that was a good decision to make. And the reason why it was a good decision to make is this has continued, not just with me, but with so many people. So you see, when you tell your own story and you lodge it, there'll be occasions just like this where I feel like I have to go back and represent to the new audience who didn't see those videos so they can have more context. I saw a comment from one of Afua's goats saying, all of your channel is about Afua. And I just don't understand why Afua's goats want to continue to embarrass themselves. Do you understand? They want to embarrass themselves. they constantly leave comments that show me that they haven't even done some basic due diligence. And I'm already out here saying, you guys are dunce. I'm already saying that. The least you can do, you get what I'm saying, is to make sure that when you come and you present yourself in however you want to present yourself, the least you can do is make sure that you're actually adding up and you're not like basically fulfilling what I've said about you. You're not being a living example of the dunceness that is part of this herd, this flock of sheep. So no matter what is said on anybody's platform following this video, I am not responding because I don't even watch your content. If you make any video about me, you can bet your bottom dollar, ask anyone around me, me not watching it because it's witchcraft. And because I know that what you guys are doing with your low vibration and your low intentions for others is you're trying to harness the consciousness of others to actually put attacks on people, energy attacks, social attacks, spiritual attacks. I am not going to contaminate my heavens, my mind, by consuming the content of degenerates. The content of degenerates. Now, I want to stick a pin here because today I spoke to a few people, and one of the people that I spoke with said to me, you know, this issue with Afua Rose, this is like spiritual warfare. And I'm glad that in the video I mentioned this thing of if you sit down, two or more people, and are even in your private home space, and you're constantly just going on and on and on and speaking the most evil, the most iniquity about someone else, that energy is witchcraft. The reason why it's witchcraft is because whatever's coming out of your mouth, it comes out with a vibration. And I can't remember the name of the scientist, but it's a very common example that's given to show the power of words. So he has 2 glasses of water, and 1 glass of water he just speaks loving things to, like, I love you, I care about you, I'm happy you're here. And the other glass of water, he speaks, I hate you, you're evil, all negative things. And it's an experiment. And it's an experiment about vibration and sound. And basically, within the time span that the experiment was conducted under, the water that received all of the beautiful, affirmative, loving words had formed crystals within it. Beautiful crystals, like formed within the cellular patterns of the water. And the water that was spoken ugliness and hate and evil into it, it went black and murky and dirty. Now, both of the glasses were in exactly the same conditions. And the only difference was that one of the glasses received love and positivity and encouragement. Do you know what I mean? And the other glass received hate. So that does translate to humans. Okay, that translates to humans. But what a lot of people don't realize is when you curse people, it has to come out of your own vessel. And if we are 70% water, like the planet, you actually infect the 70% of water that's within your own being before that vibration even leaves you. And that's why those people who are always like the Afro Roses, like all of her, like a lot of her followers, I met a few of them at the march, like Killer P, they are distorted on a cellular level. So yes, this does affect the other person, which is the reason why I don't watch her videos, because I am not going to willingly sit down and allow anyone to cast spells on me with their dirty mouths. If you're not speaking life into me, I'm truly uninterested. I feel that more people should be conscious of this and not tolerate those people who are essentially casting affliction, casting disease, casting sickness into them by speaking ill of them. I would not watch a video that I knew this person is just slating me. I'm just not going to watch it. I am not a child and I'm not that curious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can control myself. So I haven't watched anyone's content. I'm just aware that it has existed, and some people had to get their content taken down because they call up too much people's name and said too much damaging things that they cannot event. If I ever take this video down, it will always be on my website. I have my own platform for that exact reason. Okay, so Bayush. You see where it was with Bayush? We drop off Afua, Pussycat. Pussycat is possessed, obsessed by someone called Keith Bennett. By someone, Kevin. Pussycat is obsessed and under the psychic control by the way he talks. He's totally consumed. He's out of his mind. And all he wants to do is to solicit the homicide of Keith Bennett. And when this came out of his mouth, in addition to, from the day I spoke to Pussycat, he had nothing good to say about the His Time Is Up movement. He had nothing good to say about Afua Rose. And this was shocking to me. That's why I don't like mixing with groups of people. Afua has a march to march and protest against the assault of women. She does not have enough security. She calls on some of the men who in public, they say they support her cause. Pussycat is one of these men. He comes, puts on a big peacock ego-puffing performance at the march. Because at the march, Afua's troll, her online troll, who became my online troll after I went on her platform. So, we're even going to that, it's unnecessary. He gets arrested. So while I'm singing on stage, I should have brought the footage up, but I don't want their thing on my thing. While I'm singing, Dirty Man, you dirty man, you dirty man, leave the people picnic them alone. The man is getting arrested on the grass in front of me. Killer P puts on so many ego... Pussycat puts on so many ego-puffing performances for the camera. But the minute I speak to him, in case you're wondering what that is, this is me intentionally not trying to call this guy's name because I don't like to feed people's darkness. So I decided to recoin him as the Pussycat, okay? Because if you can't be honest, if you're on some timid stuff, if you have to talk behind people's back and try and use them, you must be like, a little pussycat. So that's where I essentially said his name by accident. Later on in the week, he is slating Afua. He is slating the movement. He's talking about Afua never had enough security for her daughter. And he told me things I wasn't even praying that. I just came to sing and leave. And that's what I did. And even when I was leaving, Afua was so happy, so thankful. She had the audacity to reach into the collection bucket. Me, a professional singer, reach into the collection bucket, grab, I don't know what the size of the note was, and try and put it in my hand. And I said, no, Afua, I am not. First of all, I am not charging you for this. I wasn't even going to come to this march. So I'm thinking, I just came here. This is definitely volunteer work. Secondly, anything you have in that bucket can't pay me for my performance. So here you go. I said, put it back, put it towards the charity. I had already been invited to her birthday dinner. I had politely declined. How can I go to dinner with you? I've never met you before. It's your birthday. I'm there with all your best friends. I don't know you lot, especially with this toxic feminine culture. So I just said to her, thanks for the birthday invite. I'll send some money to your Cash App. And that's what I did. Or I joined her membership. I sent some money and joined the membership. That was the birthday to say, no, I don't. And I even offered her, I'll give you a tarot reading if you want, but I can't do that. I probably just said I was busy, but that's what was going on. Okay. So she offered me the money. I said no. Pussycat came to me, asked me for some milk, musical milk. We exchange numbers. I leave. I speak to Pussycat. He's got nothing to say. I can tell by everything he's saying. He has been chatting Afua with everyone in the South London community. Not only that, he's very close as a child growing up, not only to Afua's daughter's father, who she slated, but also to the man that was arrested, the troll. So his loyalties are splintered. They're all over the place. And I realized this guy's an agent. And some time passes and Afua's page gets taken down a few times. And I stopped talking to him because the last thing he said to me on the phone was about wanting to assassinate that same man, Mr. Bennett. And I just said, yeah, we're done. Come off my phone. Like, you see, if you're not calling me on a healing tip and you want healing, and I'm telling you want healing, and all you can say is, I just want blood. Nah, blood, you need to go. And that was the day that I realized, now think of the fairy tale. The three little pigs, you got the wolf. Yes, a wolf, right? Is it the gingerbread man? You have the wolf. I don't know about a gingerbread man, actually. I think that's a fox. So the three little pigs, you have the wolf, and Little Red Riding Hood is the same wolf, right? And if you know those old fairy tales, there are actually many stories with that wolf, but those are the more popular ones. So what is it about the wolf? He's always dressed as someone else. So he's dressed as the granny. You know what I'm saying? And then when Little Red Riding Hood comes, he's really, think of that picture. I should have uploaded it to this. Same with the pigs. He'd be knocking, little pig, let me in. But who was it? It wasn't no, it was the wolf. That's who Pussycat is. If you look in his face, you'll see it. So I cut that off nicely, not interested, felt traumatized, felt contaminated, the whole, everything. Yuck. Told my family. That's how I'm glad I posted my family, sister. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know what's going on in the world today, but I'm not interested. And a couple months passed, and Afua reached out to me. And I said to her, you know what? On a sister tip, just from a integral space, it's not everything I hear on the road I'm gonna come and tell you. I'm just gonna let you know that. But there's this one thing that just because of how I know you and why I know you, why we are connected, I need to. So this is when because I like to acknowledge my mistakes, right? Because it's important for growth, it's important for self-development. And this is essentially exactly when I make another major mistake with Afua, a major mistake. And what I do is that I essentially view her as one, a whole woman, and also a sister in women's rights. And therefore, I make the mistake of even considering her like a woman to woman tip. What I've realized is that kind of woman to woman tip is just for certain people. It's actually not for everyone. And the way how Afua has conducted herself, the way how she's unraveled, the way how she's just shown everything that's the opposite of womanhood and sisterhood, I realized that this also was one of my major mistakes. Oh dear. We live and we learn, don't tell you that Pussycat is an agent. He's against what you're doing. He's not genuine about it, and you need to be careful. That was that. I told her he's a narcissist. I told her I can see it in his chart, and I can. Next thing, I keep on getting this person called Jay commenting. They left a comment. I banned them because I don't have time for the foolishness. And they've come back. I can tell you for a fact that is Afua Rose. So Afua Rose is present. Give her a round of applause. She is here with her fake accounts, essentially spamming my live. Big, tough back woman. Big woman, you know. Big woman, you know. Big Wednesday night is 5 minutes to 11 in the evening, in the night. And this is what she's doing. Ridic. You hear it in his voice. His behavior is even going into is past narcissism. Narcissism is delicate. That man is on something else. Right? The Pussycat. So she was like, okay. And then a couple months passed again. I haven't been watching the content for about 6 months now, you know. And that's when my friend says, how come she's there defending Pussycat? And I thought, that's weird. And then we spoke. I don't know if she called me or I called her. I can't remember, but we spoke. And I said to her, like, what's going on with that? And she goes, oh, well, I know you said that. But I spoke to him and I think you two all need to get together and have a conversation. I'm like, are you crazy? Did you think that when I told you that that person is an agent, that person is against the cause, did you think as a survivor myself who came and put my documentary about this serial sexual assaulter from my area, you think I'm here to negotiate and debate with someone that I know is against the cause? After they've done exposed, you think I'm here I'm not here to have no opinion. It's either you take it or you don't take it in it. But I am not going to be having no conversation with the three of you, because in my mind, her character has shown me time and time again, fragmented, unwilling to heal, bitter, resentful, and as a default, corrupted. And maybe you were always corrupt. I don't know you from nowhere. That's just my diagnosis. So I realized, oh, both of their characters are off. So me and her had a fallout on the phone, and that was the end of it. Never thought about it again. Humans don't have to always get on. We weren't friends. We met for a specific reason and a purpose. The purpose had fulfilled itself. I felt that we both supported each other in different ways. We don't owe each other anything. We're not obligated. And she did another thing that I didn't like, which speaks to her character. So one day when she asked, because she kept on calling me and saying, will you come on the live? And I didn't understand why. Initially I was doing it, but then I just had to honor myself and not do it. But one day I was on, there was a lady who, she's a young lady in her 20s. She's exposing the UCKG church. Her mission is to expose the corruption and abuse, specifically psychological and physical by the sounds of it, that's taking place in the UCKG church in the UK, of which she used to be a member. So she came onto the live once, and I think we were on the same live. Then when I went to the march, I didn't know that this march that was supposed to be about defending women was going to change courses halfway through the march, and they went and shut down the UCKG church because that lady was there. So a couple months passed, and Afua, in the same conversation, said she gave that lady like the freedom to go and shut down the UCKG. That wasn't planned. But she noticed that now the girl, when she's calling the girl's not answering her back. When she's asking the girl to come to these many marches and police stand-ups that she's asking people to come to, the girl's not responding. So I said to her, but Afua, that's a young girl, you know? Like that girl is a young girl. I don't even know if she's a mum yet. She's on her big campaign. That's her life purpose. She's come on your platform. She's come to your march, yeah? She's probably like so engulfed in what's going on for her and what she's doing. She doesn't feel obligated. So don't, like, basically Afro was bad speaking the woman, because she's running her organization like it's a cult. So you can't come in on a whatever reason that you've come in for and keep it moving. She feels like anyone who comes through her platform is now indebted to her to show up for all her lives, to come and talk on the lives, to go when she's been arrested and hang out outside the police station, to go to protests where you may not even be in alignment with what she's protesting about. And even if you're a young girl like this young woman, she will dig your name in the dirt. Do you understand? This is someone who has adult children, and she's speaking about someone who essentially is young enough to be her child. And just because the young woman was doing her thing and doing it pretty well, she started to dig her name in the dirt. That's a cult-minded mentality. That's a cult. That is a cult-minded mentality. And when I saw that, I realized, yeah, distance yourself. And you see, after that conversation, I said, I'm not dealing with Afro again. Because if you, as a mother of a 12-year-old, grandmother of young children, don't have the emotional intelligence to look at a young woman who's not responding to you for whatever reason and just say, hey, it is what it is. Why do you feel that anyone that comes onto your platform, they now have to run behind you and keep pushing your cause? Don't you have your fundamental core people? Or is it a manipulation? You can come onto my platform, but there's an unsigned energetic contract that you're entering into. That means once you come onto my platform and say, Kem, you now owe me, and I, Afua, now owe your soul, and you're obligated. Do you know how low that is? That is lacking emotional intelligence. It's lacking mental equilibrium, logic, and rationality. It's lacking common sense. It's lacking spiritual intelligence. And this is a community leader. Wolves in sheep's clothing. So imagine anyone can fall out. I said, I'm not having a conversation with this guy. I don't know what you're on. She started running up her mouth. I said, I know you're born on the same day as my mother, but guess what? You're not my mom. I've already left my family home because of the same toxic femininity that you embody. and you think that how many years later you're going to come back to teach me the same spiritual lesson because you're born on the same day as my mother. What Afua doesn't know is that the Pussycat is born the day before my father, and they are opposites. July 4th, January 5th, opposites. Cancer, Capricorn in the Western zodiac, Gemini, Sagittarius in the Vedic ancient zodiacs, Egyptian zodiacs. These two beings that have orchestrated this low-level vibrational attempt to assassinate, but all they do is evince their own corruption, are on the opposite sides of the astrological axis. How about that? And are also embodying the birth dates of my mother and my father, energies that I've already mastered and know how to master and will do time and time again in this life. Because what I also didn't mention here is that in addition to those two things, they are also quite significant to my own birth chart, the chart that is the sky that I was born under. So they're in places essentially that are very important to my chart. One is my past, it's my north node. Sorry, it's my south node, which speaks about where you're coming from, what kind of lives you've lived before, and that is the Pussycat. And one is my future. My father, a male, is in the Capricorn / Sagittarius placement, just like the killer bee, the Pussycat. And my mother, a female, is in the feminine placement, the same like Afua. So what I realize is that my level of insight into what has happened and what is happening, it is something that they don't have access to. And that's the reason why I actually decided that I should speak up about these experiences, because this is actually something that I grow through dealing with. I don't grow through avoiding this issue. And not only do I grow, but I help many other people along the way. For all of these videos that I've done, specifically where I'm speaking about my own experiences, I have received so much communication, jaws dropping. Oh my gosh, is that what you experienced? And so I know I don't just speak these stories essentially just for me, but to help with the awareness of the planet. Even if you don't necessarily know these people, knowing the stories can be of great assistance, because what? The planet is filled with demons. Not all humans are moving like they're actually humans. They could have the same skin, everything, the same hair, same eyes, they've got a nose, they've got fingernails, whatever. But what's inside different people is not always the same. And some people, they work for the negative forces, the evil, the bad forces of the planet, and some people work for the others. And in this case, given my experience, it is undeniable, it is irrefutable that Afua Rose, as much as she is having this, delusions of grandeur, she thinks that she believes her own fantasy, she believes her own lies, she is actually being navigated and steered by negative forces. Clearly, my destiny calleth for that. And if I saw it go, me will take the car. You understand? Like you asked me to come perform. I said, okay, I'll take the call. Same way destiny calls for me to speak out about these things and to conquer these clearly karmic past life energies. I rise to the occasion. I take the call. That situation should have been done. I stopped talking to Pussycat in private. I stopped talking to Afua in private. I did my I Love My Room podcast about 4 months later. I saw Pussycat turn up on the live. And because he was so violent, abrasive, duplicitous, ignorant, calculating, manipulative, narcissistic, and evil to me in the exchanges that we had before Inner Child, I didn't even filter it. I didn't even control it. I just said the truth. What are you doing? Because I was speaking. Imagine he came on the live and I was saying, I know that many women are afraid to go to events that focus on womanhood and women. And the reason why they're afraid is because of the abrasive and traumatic experiences that they have had with other women, not with other men. So I just want to check something, but with other women. So I was just speaking about that. And in comes the Pussycat. And when I saw him on the live, I was in shock because I was thinking, surely I've blocked you, but if I haven't blocked you, why are you here? We're not talking, you narcissist. Do you get what I'm saying? So I just looked and I said, like, what are you doing here? Like you, Pussycat, you're an agent. You're part of the reason why people are afraid to go to marches, because the same people that are being called in to protect the women don't even believe the women's stories, don't support the movement, don't believe it. They just want to fake out looking for some clout because everyone is trying to be seen on some random YouTube video like some dead career person. That's what you're out there doing, looking for clout. Okay? Okay. So I didn't say all of that, just so you know. I just said, Pussycat, you're an agent. You should come off my live. I don't know what you're doing here. I'm not going to speak about it. I'll deal with it later. That's all I said. I did not mention Afua. And when I did mention Afua during that live, it was just part of the context of the work, the healing. I never said a negative thing publicly or to anyone outside of my immediate home circle and family and friendship. One other person in my friend circle. And no one knew I saw me tan. Me no mix up, me no live no reality show. If me and somebody follow, yes sir, what the internet have to do with that? You know life people with no boundaries. No boundaries. Do you understand what I'm saying? Never said anything. Carried on. Went and did I Love My Room. Divine, beautiful time. Never. Oh, he did say, the Pussycat, okay, wait until Sunday. I'm going to go live on my podcast and I'm going to talk about you. And as a true sage, and someone with goat mode, because all my thing is goat mode. When you watch my videos, I'm just making predictions the whole way through. Even the I Love My Room was a prediction for what was about to come. I spoke about treacherous, femininity, and then Afua came and manifested what I said. Goat mouth is something we say in Jamaica when people speak what's about to happen without knowing necessarily that's what they're doing. Okay? He said, right, I'm going to make a live about you. I say, do it. And remember that you need to call my name because the video will do good because of who I am. And I bring value to anything I'm a part of. So do what you're doing in it. Deuces. I don't watch his content. I don't care. No one in my circle watches his content. No one cares. We had no idea that Pussycat had gone ahead and done the video on the Sunday because no one cared. He realized that no one cared. He made the video for clout. He wanted all the reaction. He didn't get no reaction. Who did he go and run to? Who did he go? And again, he was used to show how weak, how corruptible, and how lacking integrity Afua is. He ran to Afua. I don't know how it happened behind the scenes, but he made a video. No one cared. No one saw it. I didn't even know about it. A couple of weeks pass. Someone reaches out to me and says, what's going on with you and Afua? Mad people. And I say, what do you mean? Like, I haven't spoken to Afua for about 4 months. Like, at this point, it was a long time. I said, nothing's going on with me and Afua. What's this then? Send me a screenshot. Jesus, peace of his mercy. Afua, this suck-out looking woman who's taken a break apparently, and she should, because if you don't practice healing and regeneration and you're always on the battlefield, you don't meditate, you don't connect with your inner self, you do nothing to replenish your being, to clarify your soul and your mind, you will start getting mash up. And mash up is reaching her. And everyone can see it. And I know I don't look mash up. So I didn't understand how she had the audacity and the blindness with her visual status. It's probably because she wears glasses. To put some very insulting comments about me, calling me, like literally, I don't want to say what it is, but she did compare, she used a word in Jamaica called marga, which means skinny. And it is superficial. But you see, in my family, the ladies, we have slim arms. So no matter what size we are, we have to be really big for our arms to look big. You know that kind of way? When I tell you, there's no part of my body that's slim or skinny. I was so shocked that she was calling me skinny. My breasts are going down the road. My belly is going down the other side of the road. And my bottom is going way down the field to the park. My thighs are, I'm like, what's going on? So I realized this woman's mad. Again, it's more madness. She started to assassinate my appearance. She starts my appearance, though, to show how shallow she is. She has no substance. She says she's going to do a live stream about me. I'm like, here we go. The live stream happens. I don't watch it. To be honest, I don't think we share a lot of the same audience because only 2 people reached out to me and my friend. So 2 people, imagine how big my audience is, 2 people reached out to me. One, I've never met them in my life, is someone who just likes my post. They've never supported a product. They never come to a performance. The other, I have met them. They told me that they've been following me for years before the time that I got acquainted with them. They've never supported me in my life. They've never come to a show. So I realized the 2 people that reached out to me are not actually part of my community. They're people that I appreciate because they like now and then, but they will never show up in real life. They're not coming to an event. They're not downloading your music. They're not even going to leave a comment on your video. They just watch. And now and then, they might begrudgingly leave a like. So I thought, this is strange. I'm not watching it. My friend came and gave me some feedback. I realized that Afua has lost her head because Afua has teamed up with Bayush. Bayush is on Afua's page using an Instagram handle, Tasha76, Tasha some numbers 76. Bayush is slating me in the comments. Afua has gone on her video and shared all this stuff that comes from Bayush, knowing that Bayush is a troll. She isn't, Bayush hasn't tricked Afua. Bayush might think that she's tricked Afua, but I told Afua in a very lengthy, detailed conversation since last year. I even told Afua, which makes me think Afua's wicked because Afua knows that I've reported Bayush to the police and okay, so sorry about that. So just to make this clear, I started this video explaining Bayush. Who is Bayush and how Bayush became my troll and how she's mentally unstable, essentially, right? She's not, see, sometimes when people say trolling, they're talking about someone who's saying things from their own account. This is the reason why I could never be a troll because I always speak my mind on my own platforms. What Bayush did is that she created lots of pages that were, one was me, one was my business, one was her, and she was posting all over these pages. And so when this first happened, my audience thought that was actually me. And people were, this is like years ago, 2021, people were reaching out to me saying, what's up with this page that you're running? I'm like, that is not me, that's my troll. So my audience, which I don't think I mentioned earlier on in the video, they were very much fully aware of Bayush. They knew who she was. I already, because I'm a nip in the bud kind of lady. I'm not afraid of people, basically. I don't business. So I had already explained. When I reached out to Afua and I went on her platform to speak about my documentary, Bayush reached out to her because Bayush is so sick in the head. Instead of taking care of her 2 children, right, and coming out of her toxic relationship, she is essentially watching any platform that I connect with. So say if I was to go on anyone's platform, she's going to reach out to them and say, oh, you need to know this about Linnea. But she's reaching out to them from a fake account. Then she's showing them other fake accounts where I'm supposedly confessing to all manners of evil and it's all her. Afua knew about this lady from, I would say, May 2022. And in March 2023, Afua used the information from that lady, knowing that she was a troll. That's another lie. Now, I've lost count of the amount of lies that I've caught Afua in, but this is to show when we move forward and I start speaking about how Afua really dealt with DJ Stylah and the layers of the sickness that she has literally exhibited. This is like deep mental illness. This is not just spitefulness or evil for someone to even carry out the actions that she's carried out to DJ Stylah. Take me out of it. It is absolutely sick. And this is the reason why Afua, in my opinion, is doing this, because she's on her own. She's on her own. She can't even see her own grandchildren. So as an elder, and and I am going to do a video explaining that and explaining how she neglected to tell me. She spoke about her grandchildren. She never explained that when she went to prison, she almost lost all of her children to social services. And the father of the children literally had to go to court to make sure that her own children didn't go into care. So when she was doing this freedom fighting smuggling, the way she explains the story, which I will also share here, she said she thought she was carrying diamonds and that makes it okay, even though we know that in country like Sierra Leone, there are children mining diamonds. So at the end of the day, she shouldn't be doing that anyway. She ended up bringing narcotics. When she was imprisoned because of that, her children were destined for care. The government were taking steps to put her children in care, and the father of the children essentially took the children. And as a result, when one of her children, the son, actually made her a grandmother, she has been banned from seeing the grandchildren. Does this not explain the level of anger, the level of isolation? The reason why Afua is literally scrambling before she reaches retirement, because she doesn't even have access to her own gene pool. She doesn't have access to all of her children or her grandchildren. They're fully aware of what she's doing. But yeah, because Afua wants to join this weird campaign with the agent who's against her campaign, yeah, she's run to bring this information that she knows is false and open the doors for all the vultures, all the zombies, like the Aisha, who the police had to shut her down. She made Aisha come talk, apparently. I don't know if she spoke or if she read something. I don't know what it was because I never watched it. But apparently, Aisha, my first troll, by your shoot Afua full well. You see how sick she is? Sick, wicked, and corrupt, and I can't chat to me. Anyway, on a 7-pound road, just cross the road. Them the caliber of woman, white, black, blue, or purple. You low vibration feminines. You should have. And this is why I don't want to hear people, like when I first put this video out, I had some self-righteous people who clearly don't have any care for me. They just want to back this woman, right? This ex-con, this mule, basically, who we're finding out has a prolific criminal record. And I can't wait to find out more about her criminal record. People will come and say these things that people say in the fake woke community. Oh, it's really bad to see a black woman tearing another black woman down. I am not tearing anyone down. I am simply responding and explaining what I experienced from a woman trying to tear me down. Do you understand? I am not tearing anyone down. And I find it so abusive for people to say things like that. It just shows their lack of emotional intelligence. And it also shows their true reasons. This is the reason why, even in cases of child abuse, SA, DV, a lot of women don't speak up because they are being told, which is essentially a gaslight. Oh, you shouldn't do that to your black brother or your black sister. This is manipulative mind control, and I do not subscribe to that. If you step on my foot, which is what I teach all of my students, don't allow people to abuse you in the name of nothing, whether they're your family. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether it's a racial thing, these are literally isms and schisms that people have bought into that allow predators, abusers, demons to be protected under this false guise, where if that was a true thing, I wouldn't have been attacked in the first place. There are many reasons why Afua should have never opened her mouth about me. Many. I've already listed them. The past video, this video. But on top of that, if you're coming with some black fake woke-ish, am I not black? Why was I the recipient? You understand what I'm saying? This is the gaslighting. Blessings, Tasha. Tasha says, I love the narcissist videos. Ruiz is going in. Ruiz says, Afua smokes crack with Brenda. And you know what? Since I put my first video out, I have been seeing Afua smoke. I don't know about that. So that's an allegation. I don't know. But the behavior definitely speaks of someone really taking on some hardcore narcotics. So please miss me with your fake woke black. I have done everything within my power with all the different art forms that I have to celebrate and empower women who are of the same color of mine as mine. Sorry, I've also encouraged every woman of every race that I've come into contact with to love themselves and to honor their ancestry, which is linked to the skin color that they have. Not just, oh, Black people must honor their ancestry, but no, everyone should honor their ancestry. And if you check it out, even the way the UK is run, they practice ancestral reverence here. When you go into the cities, you're seeing some Hollywood statues. Who do you think those statues are of? Their ancestors. So ancestral reverence is actually a standard practice in all parts of this planet. No matter what the religion or tradition, one thing that is central to every society, essentially, is ancestral worship, ancestral reverence. Don't use the fact that we have ancestors of the same hue or from the same region to say that I should put up and tolerate your abuse, because you're abusing me regardless of my ancestry, regardless of whether we have shared ancestry or not. And some of my ancestors, they knew your ancestors and they did not like them. Come to yoga class. You should have come to I Love My Room, but you couldn't have come. You would have contaminated my students because your spirits, yeah, your spirits, yeah, are degenerated. A big 53-year-old grandmother runs with the skin, knowing that she's spreading lies to the masses. Why? Because she knows that I've called Pussycat an agent, and now she's afraid. If she's gone as far to call him an agent and she says she's going to explain why, in me explaining how Pussycat is an agent, Afua is fearing that I'm going to reveal her. But I am not corrupt. I don't need to tell people one person's story to tell another person's story. You understand? I never had any intention of ever speaking about Afua in this life or the next. And the proof of this is, as I said, I had stopped speaking to both people 4 months prior, one, 6 months prior, the other one. And I had no reason. I never thought about, why would I make content about that? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And yet they sit down. She does, I don't even know how to describe this dirty ringleader type of tactics. And every single person that I saw, that I personally knew, trying to run up their dirty mouths about me, I addressed them in this Please Don't Call Me Sis video. And I noticed Seeker the Crafter, she had so much to say. When I made the video about her, nothing. What can you say, you bunch of liars, you toxic feminines? We, people like me, women who aren't even like me, they are sick and tired of you deviants in the mist, destroying sisterhood, destroying womanhood, making men essentially think that we have issues amongst each other because you don't have any type of humanity. You weren't raised properly. Your morals are literally underneath the gutter. And if it's one thing that I'm happy, imagine this happened. So now you've heard it. Last year, the same time that DJ Stylah got arrested this year, not DJ Stylah, Afro got arrested for DJ Stylah. That shows that she isn't stopping in her tracks. I personally have spoke to many women who have had painful experiences when they're actually trying to either contribute to the work Afro is doing or defend women, not necessarily defending men, not defending women who have been accused of assault, just defending women because of the barbaric way that Afua Rose has treated them. I know women who have been extremely disrespected by this spawn. Like, which hole did you drop out of? And how dare you think that you were going to get away with it? And how, I don't care about your audience. Their intelligence, I notice every comment they leave, we're not even like, why did you bother to leave that comment? Why did you even bother? Do you get what I'm saying? But Afua, since you want to put yourself front and center, you are now being held accountable time after time. And guess what? It is only going to get worse. I would put it to you that even if from this day, which is extremely unlikely, if Afua decides to work in an ethical way, it done, gone, bad already, meaning you will be having to deal with court cases. You've said too much. You've done too much. You have this cognitive dissonance. You say you're about Black community, but all you're doing is essentially disrupting poisoning and contaminating your own community. That's what you're doing. You're not even assisting women who are essentially the leaders of all families and communities. You're not assisting them in healing so they can be their better selves. You are banking. She's banking on them being in a low vibration so they can continue this demon time kind of thing. And watch, mark my words, this is a prediction. Just watch what's going to happen. Just keep an eye out. But one thing I will say is that I do believe in past lives only because of the things I've dreamt, not because of anything I've read. I have dreamt myself in many different past lives enough to know that I've been here before. And as I cognitize that information with what I've read and my life experiences, I take responsibility like this, as I said before, to nip in the bud, not just situations from this decade. This isn't about this life. No day is promised. None of us know how long we're going to be here. And I find that these are spiritual fights that people are taking up as part of their missions in life because they've lost their way. And what that means is, if we don't deal with these issues in this life, in accordance to my experience, we're going to be dealing with it in the next life. And I'm not interested in dealing with any of this stuff in the next life. This is also why I spoke up. I decided that, okay, I can see that this is karmic. It's so deeply entrenched. It's connected to my astrological energy. So if you think I'm going to wait out this life and have to deal with you in another life and have to learn the same lesson and be forced to speak out in the future, I am not going to be doing that. I don't want to see you in my next life. I don't want to interact with you, not even if you're my servant. So it is important for everyone to deal with things when they arise. Even if you take some time, like I took some time, I processed it. But at the end of the day, you have to deal with people. You have to show people how to treat you by demonstrating very clearly what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate. And essentially, every single one of my trolls, including Dotty Afua and Dotty Pussycat, this Dotty gal, they are all acting like that. And I'm sure I will say it at the end of this video. They are acting like that because I said, no, you can't have access to me. No, no thanks. So what are you trying to vamp out of me? What are you trying to suck and cipher out of me that it causes you to have so much distress when I close the door in your faces? What is it? This is the longest live I've ever done on my page. I have an audience of 8,000 new people. They don't even know this, Linnea. But you know what? I'm very thankful I was able to do this, because when I'm sharing my songs, you guys don't know who I am. And it's just a random song. Maybe I Decline will mean this, by the way, this 208,000 followers that I speak about, this is on my Facebook page, because as I mentioned in the last video, this stream is taking place on my Linnea YouTube that has about 6,000 followers, and on my Facebook, which at the time had about 208,000 followers. And essentially, I had been just sharing my music, sharing my back catalogue, sharing my album. And I felt like, actually, you know, I am a human artist. Like, I'm not a packaged product. I am going to present this conversation to a bag of people that don't even know anything about it. I'm going to let people get to know me through understanding why I even have some of the songs that I have, where I'm saying, show me the way. I'm sending women to go and heal. I feel like any woman that needs to heal, including Afua, they should listen to it with an open heart and ask for guidance. That's how you get to where you need to get to. You ask for guidance, you're willing. Songs like I Decline, meaning I decline your offer to become a demon like you. I decline your offer to lower my vibration to meet you in the gully. Big goddess, and I must come down in the dirty gully and come and hang out with you. Means something now. You're like, that's who she is. That's the amount of trolls she's had. She's had to keep going no matter what. She was doing these different things because she's gifted and she was a lone parent. She had to. It's a context. I am not ashamed of my journey, my life force. I give thanks that I'm here. But because I know no day is promised, and because I have a descendant, I have someone who walks this planet that comes from me. The reason why I said what the ladies are doing and the Pussycat is witchcraft In ancient African spirituality, when people sit down with the intention to defame, slander, and lie and gossip about people, it is seen as a form of witchcraft. When it comes to violence, let's go back to crab in a barrel, bad mind. The violence in Jamaica is usually associated with men. That doesn't mean women aren't violent. Women set up their friends to be assaulted all the time. Women set up other women friends to be assaulted by males all over this planet. But me no say that happened in Jamaica a lot. So violence isn't just physical. And one violence that a woman has is her mouth. So we do not compare or see as parallel the masculine, aggressive, overt violence. We don't put that as parallel with the feminine, verbal, energetic violence. But I would put it to you, in this world of the battle between good and evil, they are just as detrimental and poisonous. So what these crabs in my barrel are doing is violent. You're being violent towards me and mine. So I have a responsibility. Do you get what I'm saying? Not for you guys, but for my descendants. So that when I leave this planet, may they have the opportunity to look back and see, what did mum experience? How did she cognize and process that? What were the lessons that she learned? And how can I implement that into my life to move with more safety and to navigate with more safety on this planet? Because the rules of this planet aren't changing. That's all right, they're not changing. They're not changing. We're born and see corruption. We're going to pass and see it. We're born to see on all these assaults, all these injustices is part of the realm of this planet. It's been like that from the beginning of time. We have evolutions, but as much as technology is evolving, you can use a platform to go live, but you need to do the work to develop your spiritual technology. And you do that through discipline. You would have had to have gone through a path of discipline, even if it's for a year, bro. Get some discipline, then you can start to harness your anatomy, mental, spiritual, emotional. Then you can move in alignment with something that's of benefit to the planet. Then you're worth. Your name's worth calling, to be honest. This is a really important point because I find that, probably with the exception of Killer P, who's just a straight up agent, all of the women that I've had issues with that have tried to troll me online and attack and abuse me and be violent with their mouths, they lack discipline. They may, like some people who on the surface, it looks like they've done some work, but because they haven't really cultivated and honed their being, their true being, their soul, through discipline. Discipline can be, there's many different things that you can do to develop discipline, but without discipline, you won't be able to expand in a certain way. Like expansion in whatever area of your life that you desire does require discipline. And because I've gone through various spiritual schools, healing schools, they've all come literally from I was about 16. They've all come with different types of disciplines. And so I am used to abstaining from lots of different things. I am used to having rigorous or vigorous like routines, and I have to do this at this time, or I have to make sure that I do my yoga every day, or I have to do a high level of yoga so I stay on top of my form, or I have to literally meditate all the time. I have to create time and space because we've all got the same amount of hours. And for me, literally, I always feel like, where's the day gone? Where's the day gone? But even within that, I still have to have a discipline. And my disciplines have literally, it's like squeezing, it's allowing the goodness to come out. It's allowing whatever gifts you have to make their way out. And all of the women who I found have attacked me, they are insecure, they are jealous. Yes, they are bad mind. But the true reason why they're crabs in a barrel is because they haven't developed the level of discipline required so they can jump out of the dusty barrel. So it's not, a lot of people say, well, crabs don't belong in a barrel. They belong by the ocean or by the river. And so the question is, who put them in the barrel? And then in the fake black woke paradigm, they'll say, well, it was the white man that put them in the barrel. And immediately we've all removed our responsibility and gone into a state of victimhood. Do you understand? We've all done that. And I don't want to perpetuate the idea of victimhood to my audience. I feel that it doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, what your childhood was, you can actually really bring about the treasure of your being through working with your mind and using your mind essentially to develop discipline. So you don't have to keep looking outside of yourself and say, oh, I wish I could do that, or look at her doing that. Rather than being inspired, and I have been inspired by so many people throughout my lives, male and female, from authors to entrepreneurs, artists, healers. I'm inspired. I allow myself to be inspired. I allow the inspiration to give me fuel to continue with my journey. But many of us, we make the choice to be lazy. To be lazy, essentially. In order to be a good parent, you can't be a lazy parent because you have to be consistent with certain things. In order to parent yourself, to force yourself, essentially, to let whatever's in your soul come out, whatever's in your mind, whatever your gifts are, you have to be disciplined. So you can't be lazy. So the people who are just lazy, and what them love saying in Jamaica, like they're lackadaisical, them just want dream about what them want, but they don't want to put in the work. Those are a victorious person's biggest enemies. Those are the people who want to pull you down because they haven't worked on themselves. And so it's important for you to even reflect on yourself and say, am I doing less than what I'm capable of? This doesn't mean you have to work 24 hours, and it's not like this go hard or die trying culture. This is about honesty. Honesty. We can all, in many different areas, we are capable of so much. We don't have to. That's why I published my daughter's books. My daughter wrote 4 books before she was 12. I've published 1. I've got 3 more to publish. And even though she's not even, that age anymore, I still feel like it's important for me to publish them. How I published them was routine and constant application of my goals. I wrote out my goals. I wrote out my objectives, which is how am I going to achieve these goals? Like, what do I literally have to do? And I conformed to my plan. I conformed. I didn't go out many times. Do you know what I mean? I cut down on chatting on the phone. I cut down on wasting time so I could allow something that was just in our mind's eye to take root. So when you're being jealous and bad mind, you need to realize what you are actually doing is making you're disguising the fact that you haven't done the work. You haven't been willing to sacrifice. And next thing, a lot of these people are sitting down watching EastEnders and what you call it? Oh, I have to put the charger in 1 moment. That's a good thing somebody did say that. There we go. EastEnders, Coronation Street. If you got time to be watching Coronation Street, EastEnders, and the likes of it, you have time to work on your dreams. You have time to write that book, to publish that memoir, to build that school. Whatever your vision is, you have time to do it. And there's no reason, not even the color of your skin. Stop hankering on about white supremacy this, white supremacy that. We acknowledge these things exist, but we are not to be victims of it. We are to be masters. We are to identify, oh, this is another challenge amidst my many, many challenges. One of my challenges might be the fact that it's hard for me to motivate myself. One of the challenges might be the fact that I procrastinate a lot of the time. Literally, even when I was publishing my books, I was going to be publishing with a friend. She was publishing her books. Along the way, a lot of the things that I've sought to do is always with someone else I'm doing it. And I've always had to leave those people behind because they were being lazy or they were replacing their dreams with the new man that they just met. And I'd be like, yo, yeah, my life essence, my life force, it's not a joke. And also, in order to honor yourself, you have to do the thing that you really feel like you want to do. It's not just a thing of, oh, it's a dream. It's actually a part of your destiny. And that's why you're feeling like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. But by ignoring it, you weaken your muscles of discipline. And then you have space because you have all these excuses to attack people who had even less resources many times than what you may have had access to, but they did the work. But this contortion of self and then purging and projecting said contortion and dysfunction on others Not everyone's going to take it, and I am not. So please, don't call me sis. Don't call me sis. I've written a song about it. I just haven't recorded it yet. And it's the next song. I'm not going to sing it. I don't know if I have the voice. It goes, please don't call me sis if you're going to turn around and diss me. If you're going to stab me in my back. If you're full of jealousy and envy, I beg you, please miss me with that. You're too damn grown and I'm too damn grown. I've been on this planet many times before. So if you're going to turn around and diss me, I beg you, please don't call me sis. Okay, let's wrap this up. I think I've come to the end, almost done. So after this mental disgrace that was exhibited within our community, just to show how far we haven't come and why I don't identify with so many labels and tags anymore. That's why I don't identify with you guys and all your woke stuff. I'm just not part of it. I'm human. I'm here for clean-hearted people. I don't want to align with people based on one specific thing that we have in common. I need us to have more in resonance. Your vibration needs to be high, basically. Your hands need to be clean. And it doesn't mean, you haven't done anything and no, it's just that right now in this time, you need to be better. Do you get what I'm saying? Cool. So Afua runs with the fake troll that she knows is a fake troll, Bayush, and bases her whole thing on Aisha, who's already been exposed as my first troll, and all the little critters who I don't know who they are, I didn't watch it. But one thing I will say is I was sent because I reported it to the police, because I reported everyone because I'm not playing with you guys. Yeah. Because you're doing spiritual attack and I'm a professional person. I'm like, wow, is this legal? Is this harassment? Is this slander? The least thing I want to do is log it because we don't know what's going to happen next year. And every year is something, right? When I look on the prediction, you hear that? The least thing I'm going to do is log it because we don't know what's going to happen next year. And every year is something. And see, this was done in July, so it's not even a whole year. And it's still an ongoing cycle. Page of Tasha 76 or whatever her name is, she is leading the debate. But there's also the other page that's her in my name, and at some page, The Truth About Linnea, I think, as well. I'm not sure why I haven't been checking them recently. So it gives the audience the impression that these are separate people. Do you get what I'm saying? But Bayush is Ken's Designs. That's who she really is. Do you understand? I even know her mother. Her mother has attended I Love My Womb twice. Her mother is as underdeveloped as she. She's older than me. Do you get what I'm saying? But she's young. She's lovely, but she's young. And that's the reason why Bayush is also so young, because my daughter, who's literally just at the end of her teens, has no children, nothing like that, is much more mature than Bayush. Stick a pin. So you see, I say, Bayush has literally at this point explored every service, every offer that I've had within my company, from attending my music events, attending poetry events, attending yoga classes, attending tarot class, like every single thing that I've ever offered. Yeah, Bayush has been a paying customer of these things. But in addition to that, even her mother has purchased my music, Say How My Music Changed Her Life. That's from my student mixtape, A Real Slice of Reality. She has attended 2 out of on Sunday, it will be the 10th annual I Love My Womb. So you can see, like, if you and your mother are actually attending my events and immersing yourself in what I am offering, clearly what I'm offering is value. But similarly to Afua, the sick gal them, their heads aren't right. And when they feel like they can't control they decide to destroy and troll. And I'm going to make sure, because I have a video of Bayush, I'm going to make sure that I show her face, because it's a damn shame that everyone can see Afua's face, but they can't see the troll who essentially Afua knew was a troll and partnered up with. And what has it done? It is literally backfired. Almost every video that I have on this YouTube, I've had to put a disclaimer at the bottom, because Bayoshi's the kind of girl, she will create 20 accounts a week. Even till this day, I've had to put, you know, if you find yourself being harassed by someone in the comments, please know this is Bayush Sabira Frazier of Chem's Design. This is her date of birth. She's not mentally well. Please don't interact with her, as it's distracting her from taking care of herself and her children. So what they've done, it can be hard to find. But if you even put her name in YouTube, my videos are going to come up. Why did you allow yourself to think that you could bully me so much and there would be no, like, you know, no response? You weren't going to have to deal with any consequences. Not to mention that nature still owes you guys slaps. So when you find, yeah, because nature will slap you. It's a cause and effect. It doesn't, you don't even need, that's why I don't need like police intervention and stuff like that, because nature alone, when you find, and I know a lot of these people, when things start going wrong in their life, they start thinking, damn, is it because of what I did to Linnea? Maybe it is. And maybe the slap hasn't even arrived yet. But I can guarantee you, in this life, not in another life, in this life, everyone will have to deal with what they have done to me specifically, because I have done nothing but to lead with my good. And it's because of these experiences why I actually became, it's like I kind of changed, and I made a decision that I was going to lead with my bad. I thought leading with your good is essentially putting you in a situation where people are really seeing your heart, and quickly they're like, you know, rallying around to see how they can take advantage. So here what you do: lead with your bad and hide your good. Put it back there, sir. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I don't need anyone to think, oh, she's so good. So I started to like be a bit more. I think that's when I started swearing online, like just being a bit more, like with the machete, a bit more like that. So that way you can just see that and be like, oh, let's not go there. Not knowing that the heart of gold is behind, which needs to be protected from the vultures and the vampires, the little degenerate beings, those who choose. We all have a choice. We evolve, we regenerate. I'm not talking about literally reproducing or having children. We regenerate, we become better, we improve, we assess ourselves, we change for the better. Or like Afua and Bayush, you can become degenerate, like a degenerate illness, like an autoimmune illness would be to someone's body. These people are degenerate autoimmune illnesses for people who they interact with. And since you know it's not just me that has this to say, and especially in the case of Afua, there are so many people that have this to say. Clearly, something in us, something.
Aisha,
the video, by the way.
Amenti, Afua, and Bayush's mother. My daughter, you know. So I'm not saying this just, I'm being real. Y'all need to grow. You can't force it, but just work on yourself. Anyway, so I see these posts, I get the screenshots, I send them to the police. I see that there's some people that are running up their mouth again on the post that I have to address.
Okay, so that's the end of that video. And that is when I address the last two people, who are Seeker the Crafter, the art therapist, and Sarjo, who are all people who have stolen from me, tried to exploit me, tried to use my business to promote their work, tried to steal my customers. Literally, this is all logged. This is all known. This isn't any allegation. These are all facts. And what this video did is put Afua back in her place. And she didn't like it. If I didn't do the video, she would have probably stopped speaking about me ages ago. But because she saw, oh no, you come and tell everyone that I was arrested for antagonizing my child's father, when she herself tried to keep that as a secret. Yes, I'm not keeping secrets from wicked people. My mum used to say to me, if someone comes to you and asks you to keep like a secret for them, don't just automatically say yes. Because sometimes the secrets that people want you to keep are secrets that will actually hurt you in the long run, because they aren't people who are going to be good to you. They're not going to be loyal. And then they're going to have you thinking that out of some perverse, twisted, conditioned loyalty, you have to keep their dirty secret. And as you can see, I am not keeping anyone's secret for anyone. So that is the end of part 2 of this review of Afua Rose, my experience with an ex-con and treacherous liar, treachery, and toxic femininity. And for the women watching the live, even for the men who have female children, take care of yourself, protect yourselves. Don't question what you're seeing when people are revealing and shedding their skins in front of you, being someone totally different to who you thought they were. Don't disrupt the flow of your intuition. I find that we all have a strong intuition. The difference is that some people are constantly ignoring their intuition. So when they're interacting with people and they have these funny feelings, they don't say like how I said, you know what? Nah, Afua, you can't be chatting that girl, I'm out. Or nah, Killer P, you're psycho. Every minute, imagine as a man, and every minute you want to talk to me about who you want to assassinate. Is that even appropriate conversation to bring to a woman? Maybe you've been dealing with some dirty gal out of road where it's just normal for you to speak to someone who you're actually just having a musical relationship, like you're planning to collaborate. You think it's okay to say that. I was raised, I was not dragged up. I cannot give apologies for that. Some people, based on their behavior, you can see if they were raised or if they were dragged up. This doesn't just include children. Sometimes we say in England, oh, the children are so, I hear people complaining children are so rude these days. Look at the hardback, dirty, disrespectful adults that they come from. Look at how big women, big men, these people are all older than me with the exception of Bayush. Every last one of them are older than me. Look how they're carrying on. Because on a jealous and on an envious and on a heart is rotten. Rotten hearts. And so thank you so much for watching. This is actually, and I'm pleased about this, this is the end of my personal recap. It's taken 3 videos because this video was so long. This is the end of my recap about my experiences with Afua Rose. I created these videos in the first place to make sure that I was logging, and I knew that there would always be a time where I could say, hey, watch that. But in this case, because of the technology, I can just watch it with you and even add on more 2 cents onto it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back tomorrow. So I did say earlier on, I'll let you know during the live if I'll be back. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back with something different. Okay. So it's not going to be me recanting or me showing you something that I've done before, but I do want to keep the conversation going. And no, my channel is not dedicated to Afua, but at least until I start to put the information together in regards to the Afua Rose versus DJ Stylah, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm covering lots of life lessons, lots of things that are just to do with humanity that we can all relate to. And in addition to that, I want to do a video, the 10 lies. I know I can find 10 lies. Even today, I found out another lie. Even today, I found out another lie. What was it? The lie was, and I will put this in an extended video. What's the lie? That when Afua went to prison, when she was convicted of being a mule, like a tough mule donkey, that her children, not her grandchildren, her children, I think it's her grandchildren as well, they were put up for care because they have, they had a reason. And so the man who she comes online and says is such a narcissist and is such a demon, the father of some of her children, Viv Amun, he actually went to the courts and really fought with the courts, spent a bag of money to get the children so he could take care of them. So he's actually their legal guardian. That's the first lie. She never told me that, She never mentioned that. She had so much to say about this man. And that's how you know when people are wicked and ungrateful. She's calling out people who literally have stopped her own flesh and blood, her own grandchildren, her own children from going into care. These are the ingrates. That's why that came up, where I was told to tell Bayush, don't get into toxic competition, which is what she's about. And don't be an ingrate, meaning don't be an ungrateful mofo to people who are going above and beyond to assist you because they genuinely want to see you flourish and grow. Afua Rose is an ingrate to Viv Amun. She should be thankful. You see how much things, well, black man this, black man that. What about the black man who went to court to actually make sure that his descendants and his grandchildren didn't end up in care? Where's the you listen? Listen, that's why narratives are a very, very important thing. So that's one lie that I've learned today, which I was really quite surprised about. And the other one, I don't think I should share it because it does go into more details in regards to the grandchildren. And at the end of the day, they aren't here. I'm not attacking them. They are actually, in a way, it's like to have that person as your grandmother is enough of a heavy burden to carry. She is seen within her family as having mental health problems. And that's why she's so alone. That's why she only really has that kind of closeness with the youngest child, because she has to. And another thing to prove that point, when Afua did His Time Is Up march, none of her adult children attended. Not one. Not one. She even told me that one of her daughters was supposed to assist her with a van, and she kind of sabotaged her because she herself, her elder children, the adult children, did not want Afua to go and do this march. Now, in Jamaica, we have this saying, if you can't catch Kwaku, you catch him shot. So when you're out here doing certain kind of works, you have to always remember, I have a descendant. I could be putting my child at risk. Let me move like I've got some goddamn sense. You know, I love saying that, right? Let me move like I've got some sense. But here we are, over a year after the fact. I'm still, because of my conversations today, I am still catching Afua lying off her crusty mouth. So go on. And on that note, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. Please like up the video. Completely forgot to ask you guys to like the video before. Please like the video. Subscribe if you're new. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a different conversation. A different conversation. A different perspective. And until then, have a beautiful night. See, it's 1 minute to midnight. So we did good. We did good, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an hour and 52 minutes. So have a blessed night. Thank you so much. Peace and love. Deuces.